It's 6 o'clock. Look, it's 6 o'clock on the clock. It says it. So
it's definitely 6 o'clock.
Surprise for you. Surprise. Let me start recording so I can put it on Facebook later. Good evening, says Ian. We've not started yet. We're starting the podcast now. Welcome to the podcast, 4020 Live. Look, it's February. It's Pride Month. James is here.
They've wheeled him out.
That's it.
The wheelchair's there. They've wheeled out the gate.
Oh, proper
Here I
walk.
am.
Yeah, here he is, representing all of homosexuality. It is James. Child, hello, James.
Thank you.
Welcome
Happy
back.
New Year.
Yeah.
Happy
Happy
Pride.
New
It's
Year.
only
Yeah.
February.
Pride,
It's
yeah.
only February.
There's a letter in League Express.
A letter.
A letter.
Or a page of letters.
Well, it's a page of letters. This one's entitled Podcast Delight. It's not about us.
Definitely not about us.
Thank you to Martin Sadler and Jake Kiernan for their excellent weekly podcast to help speed up the close season. The podcasts are well researched, very professionally presented, and feature interesting guests. It's definitely not about us, you say. I've tried to listen to other podcasts on the internet, capital I. Is there a capital I for internet?
No.
Is it the
There's a
Guardian?
capital I for I, but not internet.
But I find most of them so amateurish, and for reasons unknown to me, they find the need to resort to foul language. So it can't be talking about us because we don't do that. I mean, the amateurish bit.
I think, the amateurish we would hold our hands.
Quality control on this programme is through the floor. They remind me of young men, so definitely not us,
No.
talking about rugby over a few pints with little knowledge of the clubs and no research into the subject. Oh, fair enough. The final straw for me was one such podcast suggesting Tessie knew he shouldn't be allowed to play in Super League ever again, and that Lee have swept the alleged incident under the carpet. I'm raising an eyebrow for the
That could
listener.
be you.
I think there should be an IQ test for anyone wanting to start a podcast. I mean, that's definitely true.
Well, that would get rid of, 9/10 of the podcast.
As I say, you're the best, with the Sportsman podcast, when they do one, coming second. Long may your podcast continue. And that's a letter from Martin Sadler of Brighouse. It's not from Martin Sadler of Brighouse. It's from Graham Unsworth of Oldham. So Graham won't be listening to this, so that's good. So, but thanks for that invitation. Also, Doncaster don't have white numbers on a yellow background.
Not easy to see, is it?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Good evening, all, says Carsten. Good evening, Ian. Hope everyone is well. More sad news for Oldham. We'll come on to that in a bit. What's happening? What have you been up to, James?
What have we been up to? Yeah, we're on holiday at the beginning of the year. Always a nice way to start the year. We've been busy selling houses.
Good, because
Yes.
this isn't the time of year you normally should sell houses.
Well,
It's a quiet time.
Well, we sold nearly a quarter of our homes that we've got on the market over the last month. So despite what people think,
There's a trend being booked.
yeah, the green shoots are there in the market. Things are selling. No, it's been a busy month. We're busy recruiting.
Excellent.
So if somebody wants to work with me, can't think there'd be many, but if somebody does, then they could apply.
What do they need? What qualities are you looking for?
No experience as such. It's sort of like a trainee estate agent role. So yeah, it's more personality and being able to speak to people. And people think the job is about houses. It's not really. It's about people.
Most jobs are.
They are. Yeah, and as long as somebody
Rapport.
can hold a conversation and
Like a good referee in the middle.
that's it. That's it.
Have you watched either of the London games that they've streamed on YouTube?
I watched most of the first game at Widnes. Against. Yeah.
I
Yes,
mean,
it was against Widnes.
I know
wasn't it?
the volume was quite high on the ref's mic, and it wasn't as much yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought Tara controlled the game. And I'm not saying she got every decision right, and I'm sure if you're a Widnes fan, there were a couple of challenges from Ray and Campbell-Gillard that you felt perhaps should have had a yellow card. But
well, I'll tell you exactly what I think, because I've not
she
seen,
handled the game brilliantly.
Yeah, I've not seen Tara referee before, and I thought, given her inexperience at that level, she showed a good deal of maturity. There's slightly different. There's a different interpretation into the ruck this year. I thought she handled that well. The game was tidy. She sanctioned London in the ruck where it was necessary. She just let herself down by, in my opinion, when she'd been given a perfect opportunity to put Gillard in the bin, having just basically, effectively put them on a warning. The next thing that happens is he goes and hits somebody late off the ball. That was a perfect opportunity to say 10 minutes.
I'm in charge.
And I think if she'd done that, it would have been a spot-on performance for me. So I think the review for that game would have been, if I'd have been doing it, I'd have said really good groundwork, good identification. You just needed to nail that, because what you saw was that coming off at half-time, Gillard just in her ear, and at some point you've just got to draw a line and say, that's it. off you go, because with all his experience, he probably sees, a young girl coming to referee, thinks he can probably hoodwink her a little bit, and actually that was an opportunity to show him who the boss was, really.
How often do you have a sore throat after you've refereed a game? Because, again, we don't appreciate
Well, no, I was surprised, yeah.
There was a lot of...
Yeah, no, I thought our talk was good, and sometimes you can, particularly early in the season where your throat's not quite used to doing it. But no, I thought, as I say, it was the first time I've seen a referee, and I was impressed. Genuinely.
And are we going to see a different play the ball interpretation? I mean, we haven't had Super League yet. Certainly, the Championship being a part-time competition isn't as fast.
No,
that's one of its attractions.
It's not, but
are we seeing anything different, do you think?
As I say, caveated by the fact that's the only game I've seen and I didn't see all of it, but I saw most of it. I think I saw John Davidson's tweet yesterday about the London game, which the ruck was becoming a little bit more of a challenge, maybe. The new interpretation is that it's what's called one-step vocab, which is what they've had in the NRL for a long time, and it's something that we should have done here a long time ago. So no longer will you hear the referee call the tackle number followed by an action. 1 move, 2 move. It should be straight to the action, which might sound very minor, but that, by not saying a number, means that the player has to move a fraction earlier, and that fraction can be the difference. So, and I think in upright tackles you'll probably see them calling held earlier, which is
what we want. We don't want them all.
We want to encourage tackles being made to the floor, not in the air, and this catch and hold, which lights Super League in particular. And I think in the Championship you often see a slightly different brand of rugby. It's a bit more traditional in its style. So round 1 usually goes well. Round 2 you usually see a bit more pushback from teams as they sort of, they toe the line in round 1 and then push again in round 2 and maybe round 3. And I think what you should see more of, I suspect, is more sin bins this year off the back of ruck interference.
Oh no.
That's my guess, but that's what we should have seen in the London game that I watched. He should have gone to the sin bin for repeat offences. And I think where teams know that, there have been, in my view, not enough sin bins over the last couple of seasons, because teams have realised that they can probably push too much in the ruck without a consequence. And at some point you've got to say, hang on a minute, that's too much. I've given you an opportunity, you're not listening, we need a change of behaviour. Off you go for 10 minutes.
So everybody's doing their predictions for who's going to be Man of Steel. And it's all the people that will exploit a faster ruck. So Tyson Smoothie at Wakefield, Lockie Miller at Leeds, Jai Field at Wigan, all of the speedsters are going to get the opportunity to show.
The flip side to the catch and hold and the earlier held call is we may get a few occasions where there's an offload and we have to send the ball back, which looks a bit of a mess, and it might discourage teams that like to offload. They may not be able to get that offload in, but ultimately I think it should make for a better product. Certainly the London Widnes game I thought flowed well, and that's what we want to see.
More sin bins until coaches moan about sin bins, and then
sin bins have to have a part in the game, because there's always teams that will want to slow down the opposition because they think that that's the only way that they can compete. That's when they should come in. Shouldn't just be willy-nilly, but it should be appropriate to the game. I think, like with any situation that's different, there'll be a little bit of bedding in as referees get used to it, players get used to it, and then one of the problems with this sport is we kick off in January and finish in October, and we go through 12 seasons. It seems within the space of
it's true.
The first few weeks. Never mind the full season.
You've got to play well in 3 different conditions to win the competition.
And are we going to have the tidiest rucks and the quickest rucks in February in wet conditions, possibly snowy conditions? Maybe not. But I think hopefully they will be a little bit quicker.
London need to officially change their name to the Papua New Guinea London Broncos, because all the people on the chat keep calling them that. So that's what they should call themselves.
I enjoyed the game yesterday. I mean, I know we're going to talk about Oldham, but I thought Oldham found a way to get amongst them a little bit, slow them down a little bit, dictate the play themselves a little bit, as Widnes did for the first half of the first game. I'm not sure they'll have it all their own way throughout the entire season, but it was a good spectacle.
You see, I obviously didn't watch yesterday's game, but in the first game it was London that was slowing the ruck down and not Widnes, whereas you may have expected it to be the other way around.
Yeah, more physically dominant as the game went on. But Oldham were really undone by a 95-metre interception try.
Sunday's game is not going to go the way many people think, because many people have already decided
London
are going to smash Bradford, aren't they? They've decided that because Bradford are in Super League, but they're not that good, and London have got all these players and they're good. And this is
London are still in the process of integrating all of these players that have come in.
Sure.
And Bradford, you would think that Bradford are using this game effectively as a Super League game to springboard into the first week of the season. So they won't be viewing it as a Challenge Cup tie, I don't think. They'll be viewing it as game one of Super League, even though there's no points for it. So you would expect a full Bradford team, and they should start as favourites, shouldn't they?
They should, and what we will learn from it is absolutely nothing because it's the first game of the season.
It'd be interesting to see what the betting is, the handicap betting on
Well,
that game, because I would think it'd be fairly even because
You
there's
would
no form line for
think
Bradford.
so.
Bradford must have signed quite a lot of players. I've not kept up with who they've signed and who they haven't.
You'll be able to read how many in the new
Excellent plug. Yeah, well, I really did read it. I read cover to cover in Tenerife.
While you were sat in your deck chair going, bring me another pina colada.
I did enjoy it. Particularly enjoyed the double article because I took both magazines on Gary Hetherington.
It's a good story. It was too good a story to only do in one.
Absolutely.
Do you know who's next? I mean, again, I don't want to give anything away. A former referee.
No.
Well, it could be one of a number.
Well, I know there's
Not many who are 90 years old.
I was going to say it could run over more than 1 or 2 months if it was so.
And
More than 90 years old. Oh, okay. I'm not going to name names now. I could offend people.
And I know there's another article that'll be in the magazine that'll be fascinating because I was there while you were. Yeah.
All right.
There aren't any odds out for the games this weekend, which is.
But you see, I would say it's fairly even because
Yes.
London are at home.
Well,
they've had 2 games or whatever.
Yeah.
Bradford have had friendlies. I get that, but
they are the same prices on the outrights for the competition. So, using my lack of knowledge,
I was going to say I'm not a betting
I
man.
would suggest London might. It'll either be a scratch handicap or London would be slight favourites because they're at home. But that would be, and they've played 2 games.
The thing about the 2 games they've played, though, is they've played part-time opposition and they will be playing full-time opposition. And whilst they are also full-time, it will be a different pace to the game.
But now I'm a registered player with the Rugby Football League.
We're not going to set fire.
Well, it just smells.
It just smells like it's on fire.
Slightly woodland.
Welcome to 4020 on fire. Because I'm now a registered player with the Rugby Football League, but have not yet signed for anyone.
Are you holding out for the biggest offer?
Yeah, I can't bet on Rugby League anymore.
No,
So I've really talked myself into this, haven't I? This is a big, I enjoy, flutter, but now I can't do it on Rugby League because I'm a registered player and I've got to live by the rules of the Rugby Football League. And as we know, they're stringent, and I can't say anything about match officials or anything.
No, nobody ever does.
Exactly.
People always get punished.
Yeah. So I'm going to be, I'm not going to say a word on this podcast now. It's going to be behaved.
But it's a tie in the round, isn't it? It's on BBC, on iPlayer, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And Leeds Witness is on the Sportsman on Saturday.
It is.
So I can not watch that because I'll be at work, but still. It is the tie of the round. I've seen people say, why are they showing this game? Of course they're going to show this
100%.
game. Oh, yeah.
If there's going to be a shock in any of these games, as in a Super League team gets knocked out, in the same way Bradford beating Castleford last year was a shock, it's going to be this game, isn't it? And also, there's a lot of people that want to get a guide on how Bradford are going to go in Super League, and this is better than any friendly.
Paul says 100,000 views for the 2 games so far on YouTube. Again, as we said the other week, they've got the money and the resource to do this. And it was interesting, I think...
how many IMG points does that get?
I don't know. Barrow are still streaming their games on pay-per-view. I think Whitehaven are streaming their games, but only if you're a season ticket holder, and you get a personalised link. So you can't send it to people, because they'll know. So that's very clever of them. But yeah, if you've got the money to do it properly, you can do it properly like some clubs have done.
Well, I think, again, London are having a documentary made about this season, so you would think the footage is going to be in that documentary, so it's killing 2 birds with 1 stone. But the coverage has been good.
Yeah,
I mean, I know some people will have their own preferences for commentators and camera angles, but there's enough replays. The commentator clearly is sufficiently knowledgeable to keep the commentary going, and it's not easy.
Good.
It's not easy.
I thought it was good coverage in the game I saw. You do
It's
a
really
2-ball
not easy
angle.
when you don't have a summariser either. You've got to do it all yourself. So it's been great.
I've done that before, haven't I? I've done that on the radio. That was fun. It's a good time to be a London Broncos fan, says Dennis. A year ago, the club was on its knees. Look now look where we are. Yeah, but look at Oldham.
It is. I don't think there's going to be any issue about your investors, but let it pan out a little bit.
I think it's a little bit like Wakefield though in some ways. It has the
Yes.
potential to be so. In that Wakefield had that season, a bit like Hull KR probably did in the Championship.
Yeah.
Leaded, and they use that season as the springboard. I think everybody expects them to be in Super League next year, and actually having a successful season where they win most of their games, or should stand them in good stead. People want to go see a winning side, don't they?
Yes.
Even if they accept that it's Championship, but actually knowing that next year there's a chance of getting into Super League. Yeah, I'd like to think that that's what will happen.
I'm pretty sure these two shrewd men at their helm that have put all of the money in, or the majority of the money in, wouldn't have done it if they couldn't see that there was an opening there. And whilst we may not be able to see it because it's going to be on IMG gradings, there's clearly some calculations that they've done about if they win a lot of games, if the crowd goes up, if they're getting 100,000 people watching their social media interaction, if the finance side of the business is now going to get near to maximum points, they can probably see where they're likely to be, and they can probably judge where some other clubs who they'd be in contention with will also possibly be, and think that...
Well, it actually makes it easier, doesn't it? It makes it easier to get into Super League, not harder.
Well, if you get a grade A, you're not going to be denied, are you? So if you can get to 15 points, it doesn't really matter what anybody else is doing.
Exactly.
They haven't announced an attendance in the paper for yesterday, but it's almost as if, of course it does matter, but if you're streaming the game to everyone for free anyway...
I think the other thing is the ancillary media that they've been getting, on... the Today programme on BBC Radio 4, Darren Lockyer gets interviewed, and there's a feature about what's happening in London is after 45 years it's now going to fulfil. Well, like, when was the last time Rugby League had anything on BBC Radio 4? Never mind the Today programme.
Well, probably when Gary Richardson was laughing at something on his sports programme.
It was probably when they got to Wembley in 1999.
But again, that's why having a figurehead and a well-known
Absolutely.
personality outside of the heartland or whatever is important, in the way that Mike Ford's departure from Oldham is sad news for the sport more generally, because he's a name known outside of rugby league.
On the Oldham question, and anybody who expects us to have the answers, you're listening to the wrong podcast. We can only go on what is in the public domain, but it would seem that, I don't know if this is relevant or not, is there an appetite for rugby league in the greater Manchester area? We've seen all the problems with Salford last year. Hopefully that's a Titanic that's turning round now. We've seen this issue with Oldham, which could be a one-off, and we know they're in the High Court next week, but businesses do end up staving that off at the last minute and going on. We talk a lot about Manchester being a key area for the sport, a big northern powerhouse city that doesn't really have rugby league other than its pockets of Rochdale, Swinton, Oldham, Salford. But has there ever been a big enough appetite for us to conquer Manchester? Or is it just a football city and we have to accept that?
Bellevue don't exist anymore.
Broughton Rangers don't exist
Rangers.
anymore.
Were they the same thing?
No, Broughton became the Manchester United training ground. Carrington, I think. But
the crowds
is this history?
The crowds have been building again at Oldham with the success that they've had.
But how big is building?
Yeah, I know that. You're talking
sustainable
3,000. You're not talking 10,000. But then they create a new Manchester team. Are they going to get 10,000? Who knows?
It's just more the
possibly
appetite.
not.
Is that we have our grand final at Old Trafford. There's the Lionesses, Swinton women have rebranded themselves as
I thought you meant the
Manchester.
football Lionesses then for a moment.
There's always talk of we need to conquer Manchester and Liverpool. We were in Liverpool last week for the St Helens Media Day, which was was very very well done. But whether that is a long term St Helens moving into market in Liverpool, I don't know. There just seems to be this void land in and around Manchester.
I thought,
with the exception of Hull, with the exception of Leeds, with the exception of Bradford, I think every other rugby league town, London obviously, is a town and not
York.
a city.
York,
Oh yeah,
is it?
keep going with all the exceptions.
Wakefield, we are a city.
Oh, of course you are.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
that's
but-
that theory
but
gone. But they feel
I'm
feel like small towns. Let's say that then.
It's really funny
We
though,
don't feel like a
because
city,
Manchester is key to the, it's a
And Salford's a
major
city.
in the north.
Yeah, let's get
Salford's
that
a
fact
city.
in.
on it.
Before
But
Manchester
we're
was.
talking
Let's put that
about
in before
the-
somebody puts that in the
the
comments.
Sorry, let's just delete that.
We're talking about the greater Manchester area. Is there enough for rugby league to have its own identity.
I think this is where you need Tony Collins, isn't it? Because it's what I was trying to, I suppose, articulate, which I did really badly, was that it's a fairly small, localised sport that's grown up in working class towns, either around pits or mills. That's by and large where the sports originated. And football's probably not dissimilar. I think I read a Tony Collins article once before, maybe in the magazine actually, around the advancement of football and the creation of leagues and how that led to the development of football and where rugby league really missed out in the brigade. And a lot of what we do today can go back 80, 75 years or more as to why we're in the current position. And maybe Manchester, it'll never be conquered properly for rugby league, and it'll only ever be these pockets.
Somehow lightning was caught in a bottle in Manchester in the mid-90s when the Manchester Storm ice hockey team had a crowd of 16,000 people.
Wow.
In the whatever the arena
was that called. A one-off for an event, or
it was a regular game? But they didn't have 16,000 crowds every week, and obviously they're now playing Altrincham where they can't get 16,000. But something happened that it happened there with an alien sport. So people in Manchester must have wanted to see something at that time. They can't have all be, Man City fans. I know they were in the doldrums for a bit, but they're always a big club. But you've also got Wigan Athletic, Oldham Athletic, Salford City,
you've got
FC United of Manchester, Burnley, Blackburn, Preston North End. It's pretending all these football clubs don't exist.
I think it's just interesting that it wasn't that long ago we were reading about. In fact, it may well have been at the season launch, the championship launch last year, which was at Oldham. There was talk of was it a £90 million investment to make Boundary Park into part of a university campus, and it just seems to have drained away really quickly. They now can or can't get into their ground depending on.
Well, the crux of that will be government funding, won't it? It'll be public money that will be invested in some of that. I don't know whether Hopwood Hall would have had some involvement in that. That's local. I don't know about the university. I mean, as a town, Oldham's had a huge investment of public money in it to regenerate it.
And the community game's huge in and around Oldham. Waterhead, Oldham, St Anne's.
There's obviously some. Well, isn't that why Leeds have got not investment? Investment's the wrong word, but they've got their tentacles in there, haven't they?
Well, the foundation runs some stuff, but the idea at some point was to hand that over to Oldham. It was just because there wasn't anything being done pathways-wise, because Oldham, the professional club, didn't have the resource to do it. And so, I think there was a request, and the Leeds Foundation stepped in and ran some courses with colleges and that kind of thing. But I just think it's interesting demographically where when we look at the sport in 5 years' time, where do we target to have maximum impact? And so often in the reports that come out, there is talk of Manchester. There's the perennial talk of merging teams to call it Manchester, and there's who is going to be the big team in the Greater Manchester area, and you just wonder when you see Salford and what they've.
Is the answer to that question Wigan?
It might be Wigan. Wigan and St Helens are right on the doorstep.
But Wigan's just not Manchester, is it? It's
no?
Greater Manchester, but it's not Manchester.
But are people who are interested in rugby league going to gravitate towards Wigan and or St Helens and Warrington rather than...
If you lived in city centre Manchester, you'd go to none of them, probably. And that's probably the truth of it.
They probably don't go watch Sale either.
No,
they don't.
So there's the other thing.
They've got similar issues.
So there it goes. And this is where...
which goes back to the point, is it so much of a football city that no other sport can get a sustainable look in?
This is where the Welsh Rugby Union thing comes in, because I'm convinced they're blind to the fact that football exists. Because football has gone like this over the past 30 years.
In Wrexham.
Like that. And the Welsh national football team, the men's team, has started qualifying for tournaments, and people can go to travel to wherever they're playing, probably not America. But you can't stop the juggernaut that is football anymore. It's not stopping.
No, but we're in another territory here about why, if we are seriously a summer sport, which I know football is now a 12-month round sport, but there are periods of downtime that if we're going to fill that void with a weekly offering that builds and tells stories, then what the hell are we doing starting in January?
Where can I watch Oldham's highlights? Where can I watch Salford's highlights? Where can I watch Swinton's highlights? We had a message from Ian saying that highlights of Whitehaven's game are on YouTube already with commentary from Radio Cumbria. It can be done. And again, we keep saying this. There should be a weekly highlights programme, which is not necessarily going to be there for random person in Greater Manchester who stumbles on it, but it's for someone. How do we get these people in? Do they know it exists? I see people writing about, say, Wakefield, right? The demographic of people who live around Bellevue. There's a lot of immigrants who live around Bellevue because it's a low quality housing area. Well, do we do anything to say, do you want to come and watch some rugby league? It's no point saying, oh well, they aren't interested in rugby league. Well, surely you can make the same argument for someone in Birmingham.
Well, I think
they might just find rugby league.
That's where Huddersfield deserve credit for running. Is it their third or fourth iftar? Batley, I think, are very aware that they're in a similar demographic to Wakefield, and they can see that even on a training night, all the cricket and football pitches around them are all absolutely full, but they can't get people into the stadium to watch rugby league. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you break that down, or whether you can.
Sheffield's a football city, but something happens to get 8,000 people watching an ice hockey team every weekend.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it should go back to schools, and I think again Tony Collins talked about that, didn't he, in the recent article that you put in there in the podcast, that getting into schools, I think, is such a fundamental thing that we've probably pulled back as a sport because of budget and money and resourcing.
How do you get into them when there aren't the teachers there either that can devote time to a sport that's alien?
I know, but a lot of schools now almost outsource PE to external companies, and that's where you can just come in as an external company and say, we will provide this service.
Which Foundations are doing, which is why the Princess of Wales at Wales.
They're limited to how many schools they can go in and how far. And they can go in for like a 6-week taster period and then they're on to the next school. But what do the kids that have had that taster, how do you then transfer?
That's where, if you're going to invest money in a club, that's where you should invest your money, in my opinion.
Well, I think that
because that's your next generation of player and supporter.
Where the negotiations are, if at all, with the NRL at the moment, but part of the plan is that they would pay for things like pathways and marketing. So it's not taking over clubs or determining structures whilst they want a say in it. It's like where Penrith have invested a little in what York are doing with Newcastle. The whole London model is predicated upon clubs coming in to help them develop pathways where young players will come through a London system, some of whom may well end up in the NRL. Kai Pearce-Paul being a classic example of what is out there. I think it needs to be as refined as that, rather than just saying, oh yeah, we're going to buy your competition. And I'm hoping those kind of discussions, they've all got to be delivered as well. So again, whether you're talking about NRL staff coming over and delivering, or whether you're talking about funding enough people to go into more schools more regularly through foundations. I don't know how it would work, but schools are really difficult. A lot of them don't have facilities anymore, the sort of facilities that they used to have, particularly outdoor grass facilities. The teaching profession is now focused almost exclusively on getting people through exams and league tables rather than extracurricular activity. And in a lot of the areas we want to go in, rugby league is not a first choice sport. So those PE teachers that we used to be able to rely on in Hunslet and Batley, Dewsbury, places like that, because they'd either been ex-players or they were closely connected to the local semi-professional club, those links aren't there anymore. So I absolutely accept schools is important. It's how. I think that's the difficult thing these days.
But on Oldham, I just think it's disappointing, isn't it? And I think what I find frustrating is we don't really know why he's left.
Something's happened between Oldham Athletic and Oldham Rugby League Club.
It started with
that's money related.
The chairman of Oldham
being banned.
Rugby League was banned for 12 months by the football club that were co-tenants where they were going to do this £90 million deal to have a unit. It's like, what has happened to kick this off? The shame as well is that when we talked about which teams were going to be the 13th and 14th team in Super League, Oldham got a glowing report saying you're not a million miles away, and within a month of,
which is concerning. And then the appointment of Alan Kilshaw, which came, I think, the day before No, I think he said he announced it to the board, Mike Ford, on the 7th of January, and I think Kilshaw was announced on the 5th as leaving Keighley, and on the 6th arriving at Oldham. All just seems, those dates seem to coincide to me, that you wonder whether that was Bill Quinn's appointment and not Mike Ford's appointment. That's me trying to read between the lines. By the way,
that's
Bill,
all we can do, isn't it?
Bill I've met because I showed him around one of our homes, although he didn't buy one.
Right.
So I have met him once before. But it's just frustrating because you see a club that seems to be on the open.
Yes.
They're putting pathways in. They've got training ground. They're doing all the right things.
Certainly saying the right things.
So I don't know. We'll I guess time will tell.
Should we read more into it about it's happened at Featherstone, it's happened at Oldham? Are we looking at some of the traditional clubs of the sport who now don't have the support networks, as you say, of the industries that form them not being there? Is this going to be an ongoing issue for Rugby League?
They don't just have that, but they don't have the money coming from the RFL.
No, well,
the funding from the RFL was cut to almost non-existent. You've got clubs that are running on very, very tight budgets that I've often thought for many years, I don't know how they do it. And if clubs lose people like Mark Sawyer at Dewsbury, Kevin Nicholas at Batley, you can name pretty much every club, Derek Beaumont at Lee, and so on and so on.
And they're not going to have a lucrative cup run anymore because of the way the competition structured.
Again, it comes back to the small town mentality of it's a single individual, and that's the weakness in the sport, isn't it? We're reliant on individuals as opposed to a collective that are all going to sort of fund something. And once the pin gets pulled by one person, Marwan Kukash in the previous iteration of Salford, and it goes on, doesn't it? This is why we keep going round in the same circles.
So how do we break that?
Well, I don't know what the answer is, because you look at rugby union and that's the same there. How many clubs have gone to the wall there?
And they've even higher costs because there are more players.
Absolutely.
Football at the very top level is huge corporate government structures, but at the lower level, it's
the reality is players are overpaid in this country to play Championship and League One. Oh, it doesn't even exist, so that tells its own story. But the equivalent level in Australia, they won't be paid to that same level. So that I think, I think
hooray for the Queensland Cup.
I think they're overpaid, and that's not to undermine what they do at all.
Yeah.
But actually, if you were to start again from scratch, you probably wouldn't. If you had a collective agreement amongst clubs, you wouldn't pay what they pay, because actually it's not financially sustainable. I've got my own business. You've got your own business. You have to cut your cloth accordingly, don't you?
And it's the entertainment business. So if people aren't coming through the gates,
well, they're not. That doesn't
for whatever
support,
reason,
does it?
Yeah,
Financially,
that's the unfortunate thing. No one is owed a living. Oh God, I sound like a mill owner or something, don't I? I should be wearing a big hat and saying none of you are owed a living, but the players aren't owed a living.
I think
because if the money's not there,
the other
it's
thing
not
is
there.
the TV deals as well, which have got progressively lower, and with no idea what's going to happen at the end of this year. But in the not too distant past, all of the clubs have relied upon that as their handout to keep them going, and it hasn't been there. Certainly in the last deal, it may well not be there to the same level for the lower clubs in the next.
And therefore, it's probably not been a sustainable model for 20 odd years.
Yeah.
But sport has gone that way with TV revenue. Yeah. That if suddenly the tap turned off in football, which is highly unlikely, then what happens then? It's the same for I think any sport, frankly.
Was it the 2007 when Cass played Widnes in the Championship Grand Final at Headingley, and it was winners get promoted, losers go bust, pretty much. And Cass got promoted.
And
so
there
nothing
were
changes.
15,000 people there watching it as well.
Nothing changes. But how do we get more people watching? Well, here's some ideas. Paul's mentioned about touch rugby, about in terms of getting it in schools as well, because not everyone wants to be tackled.
No, I think that there are programmes now from under 6 right up to under 11 before the contact comes in, just to get people playing, boys and girls mixed as well, which is great.
Masters Rugby League referee says schools are key foundations. They need schools are key. Full stop. Foundations need to work with amateur clubs to use facilities. I don't know where we go. We just need more people.
I think
watching,
it's like James said, it's being aware of what our priorities are. That whatever the money coming into the game is, do we prioritise getting the game into as many schools as we can, albeit delivered through foundations? Do we look at pathways rather than paying another player to come from the Queensland Cup, what obligation can the game put on the clubs to be self-sustainable rather than look for instant glory?
Clubs have to look for long term, don't they? So
Yeah.
to look at long term, you have to look at your pathways. You have to look at where your next players are coming, your next supporters are coming, and if you build that right, then you should then get local talent through into your team, and therefore you can pay them less.
Hull are seeing some of.
Mm-hmm.
They now need to get some more local talent coming through, but the way they've built, the way Lee have built since they came back into Super League, they're engaging with more of their fan base than they ever have.
Mm-hmm.
Wakefield's regeneration, again, is a template for a lot of other similarly structured clubs in towns of cities of a similar size. I think that's why you've got to reward that, and we shouldn't go back to having a straight promotion relegation model, because that means you focus solely on your squad of players playing on the field any given year, and not all of the stuff that we've just been saying is the bit that sustains the sport.
Dennis has noticed some old faces coming back to London. They've been drawn back in by the new regime. I'll come to London when the temperature gets higher, says Carsten.
It's feel good, isn't it?
I wonder if they got that guy from Scholars that used to go, London, London. You know the bloke I mean, don't you?
Paul says Brentwood Eels are looking for players. Wheelchair days, so I could be signing for Brentwood.
It's a bit of a commute for you.
Bit of a commute, yeah.
Tuesday and Thursday.
Have to work out some financial arrangement there. Gets goes to play Nines Gala Days, still keeps them involved, but not their full-time commitment to playing. Again, it's time
the
again
with
and
Nines
teachers'
is
times.
it's disappeared, hasn't it? I know that there's a Nines element in Las Vegas coming up, and that's an NRL initiative, which again taps into what we've talked about. How do you get American colleges playing a sport that's relatively unfamiliar? Play Nines. They don't need as many players. But we seem to abandon Nines as a concept.
Sorry, go on.
Was there nothing like Rugby League to start something and abandon it?
When's the 1895 draw?
You know, like
Are we doing it on here?
What was it, the Nines tournament in Australia or something that they had?
The World Cup Nines. Kelsey Jennings made that
Nines,
tackle.
was it,
She went viral.
Well,
Our
when are we
friend.
next going to see a World Cup Nines? Who knows? And then we were going to have separate World Cups. We're now having combined World Cups. You know, it's just the same thing, isn't it?
World Cup 2030.
Where's the 2030 World Cup going to be held?
Well, it's going to be here, isn't it? It's not going to be in Nigeria. Oh, yeah, probably. It's not going to be in Nigeria or America or South Africa or Saudi Arabia.
But
but you know, and I know it's going to be
there's
here.
a dispute between
not another one.
England and the IRL about money that's owed
from the last one.
allegedly from the previous World Cup. So when you say it'll be here,
Well, it can't be in France because they pulled out of the last one, so we can't trust them. Wales hold all the games in the Millennium Stadium.
Oh, this is the World Cup that this
They need
year.
the money.
This is the World Cup this year that was supposed to be held in Australia. That's now being held in Australia, New Zealand, and Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
So,
But was in France, or was in the
I
States? Was it the American one? I went to France.
Yeah, that's right.
I can foresee France being major hosts and spin-off games in Wales,
All the England ones.
possibly even
All the-
Scotland,
Oh, but not England, because
but not England.
punishment.
Not necessarily. I think again, you're looking to develop the sport, aren't
that
you?
Troy Grant,
So
you don't like us.
you want to support a little bit of what's a regeneration in France. I watched the highlights just before we came on air of Catalan and Lesignan from the Super 13. Great game. A couple of a red card and a couple of yellows. Some great. But the game over there, the Aussies are really keen to
Well, I think they'll get the
upgrade.
crowds in France. So I think they'll get ticket revenue if they price the tickets. They won't be particularly expensive, but I don't think it is in Australia either. It's about the commercial revenue, I suppose,
Well,
that it will generate.
it was local government revenue, but they were a bit too ambitious about how many towns and cities they wanted it to be.
Yeah,
You
just
know,
need to keep it a
they
bit
didn't
more.
all come back.
The
But,
Under-21 World Cup.
yeah,
Oh yeah,
but-
we're adding that, weren't they?
I suspect Wales is on the verge of saying I could. You know, if you were to promise us either both semi-finals in the National Stadium or the World Cup final was going to be in Cardiff, that there'd be
Get
funding
some
behind
public
some of that.
money.
I think.
Yeah.
Posted a programme earlier today, 40 years ago. Great Britain Under-21s versus France Under-21s in Whitehaven. Why don't we play that fixture anymore? Or England Under-21s, or England Knights,
Or
How have
even
we gone-
under 18.
How have we gone backwards? How was there money 40, 50, 60 years ago to have Under-24s, Under-21s, this, that and the other? And now we have nothing. How can that have happened?
It partly goes back to
Apart from paying Queensland Cup
the
players.
Super League in 1996, which
It's Maurice Lindsay's fault.
when you look back now and all of that was our goose that laid the golden egg. More money than the game had ever had in its history. And you look now as to where that money is. There is no legacy money from that. There's no stash somewhere. But also, it all went on player wages.
But this is actually...
So it inflated the market, and we've never come down from that.
One of the problems with that, actually, would have been better saying £187 million, I think it was, wasn't it?
87 million.
I just said 100.
Yeah.
What's 100 between
That's what it
friends?
would have been these days.
But you've almost been better trickling that over the 20 years, and you don't have, I don't know, they didn't get it in one lump sum. But actually, the budget of the last World Cup here, in my opinion, it was hailed as a success, but actually it was a financial failure. So on what basis do you class it as a success? It lost money, but it partly lost money, in my opinion, because they had a budget, a healthy budget, and once you get a healthy budget and you give people an inch, they take a mile.
Yeah. Well,
people
they
think, oh,
knew
that's
there
all right,
was
we can spend
£25
this, we
million
can spend
worth of government funding propping it up.
Yeah. But it's a bit like, if somebody gives you something, you don't quite appreciate it as much as if you've earned it.
Yeah, I also think that at the time, and again, hindsight, brilliant, when we got 87 million quid, we should have ring-fenced 10% of it. And just said, we know clubs are struggling at the moment, we want to help them as best we can, but we need to hold back 10% to give the game some assets, which is not buying Odsal. But
are we buying post office?
Well, again, you look at, we talked about that, I think last year with the
didn't do it,
NRL, looking at actually property assets.
well, that's what they're doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
They've got a nest egg now.
Yeah.
They've bought hotels.
To generate income, if you're going to try and diversify or reduce your risk, you diversify, don't you, by having different sources of income, so you're not just reliant on TV income. Yeah.
I'm just going back to that programme from 40 years ago today.
What year was it?
1986.
Wow.
The year of a royal wedding, but we don't talk about that anymore.
Great Britain under 24s.
Yeah, under 21s.
Under 21.
And I'm going to put a picture on the screen.
I'm guessing that
Norris Bamford.
virtually all of that Great Britain team went on to play at a high
Sean
level
Wayne.
professional.
Wayne. Oh, he's got grit. Do you want me to tell you who was in the team?
Go on.
Because I've got it here. So I might as well.
See, I was looking
You
at
weren't
referee
even born,
first
were
before I was 1983.
Referee Julien Rascanier of Perpignan.
Yeah, he was a very famous referee.
The man of the match, because they were called men of the match there, because we hadn't invented woke, got a tankard and £50. £50.
And a packet of fags.
Yeah, oh, probably. Right, so here's the
Gary Divorce.
Here's the Great Britain team.
Powell,
Go on,
Kevin
then.
Harkham.
Who?
Kevin Harkham.
Yeah, played for Doncaster.
Jimmy Dalton. Mark
Yeah,
Beckwith.
Whitehaven.
Mark Forster. Brian Carbett.
Yeah,
That'd be right,
Warrington.
thank you.
Yeah.
David Crease from David Holm in the halves.
Yeah.
Roy Powell. Great Roy Powell. Neil Puckering. Sean Wayne, captain. Great. Gary Devorty. John Westhead. Paul Lyman.
Oldham. John Westhead. Talking about talent from Oldham.
David Lyon and Brendan Hill on the bench.
Big Brendan.
And then some French people.
See, I remember him playing at Keighley. Brendan Hill.
Yeah, played
£50.
at Halifax as well.
£50 in a tankard.
Who?
Moustache and a belly.
I'm not going to ask you to read out the French
No,
names.
because Patrick Anton was playing there.
I was going to say...
Gilles
any
Dumas,
that
I
you
recognise that name, don't
Gilles
I?
Dumas. Well, he's now the team manager of the French national team.
And some other French people. So well done to them. From clubs like Tres Catalan. Heard of them. Albi. Paris Chat. Is that Paris Cat? Paris Cat.
Sounds like something else. To
Well,
be
it
honest.
It sounds like something the Paris Cap might have done.
Yeah. Toulouse. Lesignan.
Our cat fell in the bath this week.
Saint Godot. Saint Esteve, who are of course the other half of Catalan.
She's all right, by the way.
I was going to say, the cats hate water.
I know. There's this big splash.
Le Ponte. Now we're just speaking French.
Le Ponte, yeah. They used to-
I've just made all those names.
Pond,
So well done to you've enjoyed that bit of some old programme. We might do that again next week. Finally, to price out of Rugby League, says Craig. It just cost me £76 for 2 adults and a child for the Bulls visit to Hull. It's cheap to watch Bradford visiting than Bulls. That's the problem, getting new fans. I'm not going to say
what would it
anything
cost seeing Peter Kay at the Leeds Arena?
Yeah, 60 odd quid, I would have thought.
What does it cost to go to the darts? If Premier League starts, is it this week? You
a
know,
lot more than it used to be when I used to
it's
pay.
not just the ticket going in, but you're there for what 3-4 hours, so you're gonna buy a
Go
burger
to
and
Flamingo
chips.
Land, if, with the kids or something. Go to Yorkshire Animal.
It's because we're so
Wildlife
used to
Park.
it. We've been used to going to rugby
But also
every other week.
one of the
forever,
reasons
isn't it?
why
it's tricky.
the ticket sales are so good at Magic Weekend is
That's
if
it.
you got in early enough, they're cheaper than going to Hull, watching your local team.
Magic weekend, the loop fixture that nobody wanted and nobody liked.
Do you like loop fixtures, Jodie? But there's all those tickets, so it's all right. So we don't know what's happening at Oldham. Although at least the good news is we don't have to put up with stories about George Ford all the time now. So that's good.
He
won tweet of the
didn't
week.
he? Yeah.
John West said it was a League player, says Michael. He was, because he said in the programme, but I wasn't the correct Phil, because he said Oldham.
Did I?
You did say Oldham. But it's Oldham, Lee, they're all the same. It's all great.
Like to show they're playing red and
all
white.
over that
What is
side.
it?
Yeah. Cherry and white at Lee. They've even got the same kit as Wigan, what they did. Was there any other news to talk about before we go through the results? We've got some breaking news at 7, by the way.
Have we?
Yeah. Oh, we've got...
What's an embargo?
Yeah. And we're sponsoring... You know, last year we sponsored a Cardiff Demons player.
We did.
We're sponsoring a new up-and-coming exciting talent this year. But we can't talk about it on the programme this week.
Really?
Richard Shaw, right?
No, don't... Not been announced yet.
Somebody got a sponsor on the back of the wheelchair, Barbie.
He said young, so that can't be him.
I had to pick a squad number. And everything. No, we're not announcing
99.
No,
I'm going to go 88.
No, that's the Hitler number. You can't have that. You don't know that? No, the 88. You can't have the 88.
That was two fat ladies, 88.
No. I mean, that's one of my other interests, but no, it's no, you can't have that. So there's breaking news coming up at 7. Programme's cancelled now.
That'll keep people tuning in for another 15 minutes.
Yeah, it won't. What else is happening in the world of rugby league? Nothing is happening because it starts this week. As you say, we could give you our predictions, but they don't matter because you'll get upset. Well, it's Challenge Cup.
I think the thing about Super League predictions is there's going to be 6 teams at the top.
Yeah.
There's going to be probably 6 teams at the bottom, and there's going to be some in the middle, and it won't be that much different to last year.
And people will get upset.
The order might be, but the top teams will still be at the top.
People will get really upset that you pick a team to win and a team to finish. If you say, I mean, what you should do is, if you're going to do predictions, if you're making a podcast or you're a content creator, if you're doing a prediction and you think, who shall I pick to finish bottom? Go for either York or Bradford, because if you pick to lose, their fans aren't going to be bothered and kick up a fuss on social media because they'll shrug their shoulders. But York and Bradford...
Is that because what French people do?
Exactly.
Huh?
Oh, hang on, will I get banned? I'm going to get banned. The RFL are going to call me in.
The enigmatic team around Super League, as it has been for the last 2 years, is Lee. Because everybody, including us, tends to write them off, which Derek reminds them when they make the playoffs or they finish third. And you look at the squad and you go, a couple of injuries there, they might be a bit light. And the last 2 years, thanks to Adrian Lamb's brilliant coaching, they've overachieved.
If Derek wants to provide me with Frey Bentos mac and cheese pies, which I shouldn't be eating now I'm an athlete.
I thought you were going to say to balance out your chair.
No, I've got to do. There's an exercise challenge going on at the minute, and I've got to do some exercise. I need to work on my arms. Legs are obviously pointless; they're just there.
Think of an exercise to work on your arms.
This programme
Which
is in
isn't
the gutter.
eating pies.
No, this programme is in the gutter. There is nothing else going on, I don't think. So let's go through the results this week. Should we predict the Challenge Cup first, which we're not going to predict, but here's the fixtures this week anyway. Hunslet versus Huddersfield on Friday night, as is Sheffield Warrington.
Hunslet did once beat Huddersfield in a not too distant past in a Challenge Cup time.
Is it going to happen again?
No.
Sheffield Warrington, which people have got very upset that Sheffield have decided to take that game to Warrington and make some money.
Although they're not that upset that Loch Lane have taken their game to Hull to make some money.
Different.
That's a nicer story.
I mean, to be honest, if you're not involved with either club, why would you care where the game's played? Because it makes no difference to you.
Sheffield had some logistical issues around their stadium for a game against the Super League team that it made it...
But they played Wigan there last year, Phil. So what?
Yeah, and that's proved to them that they had some logistical issues, and it's now economically more viable for Sheffield to play at Warrington. So if it's economically more viable for them, who are we?
Amateur clubs making money in the Challenge Cup, great. Semi-pro clubs, bastards.
Yeah.
So it is. Workington versus St Helens. One of my friends is going there, so they'll enjoy it.
Saints went to Whitehaven, didn't they, 2 or 3 years ago? Took a big, and ensured a big crowd, but the result wasn't close.
Loch Lane, Hull KR. Should be interesting.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask Willie Peters.
Interesting in what respect? I have a
Have they ever met each other
desperate
before?
issue about duty of care.
Well, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, you mentioned the podcast. It's ridiculous. You can't train and do contact,
No.
but you can play a Super League.
Full-time Super League.
Even if
team.
it's the Super
The
League
Super
reserve.
League
Preparing to
champions.
be in the World Club Challenge. Yeah.
Absolutely obscene.
I mean, it says in the paper he's going to rest his players. We could have guessed that already.
But he's
it's
not.
still,
He's only resting his England
Yeah.
internationals.
it's not, you know.
So
The thing is, if you've played a friendly, and I don't know what friendly they've played because who cares?
Well, they lost to Wakefield.
They would have put their players into that game, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And this is almost like a write-off.
But they need to be up and running because they're playing in Super League on the Thursday and they're preparing for Brisbane Broncos the week after.
Yeah, but they're not going to invest in this game at all, are they? They should be playing all the kids.
I don't think they will. I think they'll keep some of the top liners out, but I think some very, very good.
Plenty of people on
Players.
the bench that they can just take off and put on when they need to. I don't know, but you're right.
It's nonsense.
Yeah,
Well, if we get the chance to speak to Willie Peters on Wednesday, we'll ask him and say, what kind of team are you going to... What
Well,
do you
wasn't
get
this
out of
the
this?
idea of the seeding of the thing? Anyway, it's why we ended up with an amateur team at this in this round.
Well, Featherstone. It's Featherston's
They
fault.
should have
Oh,
played
is it?
Featherstone in the last
okay.
round, but
Right,
there is
I
no
see.
Featherstone.
Fair enough.
But then in the first
But
round
still,
last year,
Would have been a good
as we
game, wouldn't
said,
it? Lock Lane, Featherstone.
Last
Well-
year in the first round, 3 Super League teams played community teams.
Last year, Loch Lane played Hunslet in the Challenge Cup and lost 50 points to 10. And Hunslet were the bottom of the championship, weren't they? Or near the bottom of the championship. So, if I'm looking at that as a form guide,
Well, it should be way over 100.
Yeah.
Way over 100.
Which doesn't do anybody any.
No.
In fact, the last round, when 2 community teams from development areas were beaten by 100 points, doesn't do anybody any.
No, I agree.
whatsoever.
and in 2020, and this is not a knocking Loch Lane thing, by the way, just before people get
No, I
onto
think
that. The year before, they played Hunslet ARLFC and lost 46-6, which is even more worrying because that's the, you know, I know
there
it's
is no
difficult.
romance in a sport that is so brutal.
We should just, there is no romance, that's the end of that sentence.
No, there isn't.
I'm trying to work out if they've played, I mean, they will have played a professional team before in the past, I'm sure.
The game's changed.
I know. They played Cass in the Cup one year. Because I wrote about it, this is the season I was writing in their programme. Cass would say.
Oh, Loch Lane's programme.
And they ran Rochdale close in 2022. 28-12.
Yeah, I don't think you can read anything into that. They're playing a team coming off a treble who are desperately needing to prepare to play Brisbane.
I know. I'm just.
And who've been to Tenerife and had a week in a camp that you didn't look over.
We overlapped.
Didn't
We
look over
overlapped.
the wall, did you?
No.
Get
We
any
were
secrets?
nearby, actually, yeah. We were overlapped.
Lost 80 points to 4 to Halifax one year. Maybe I'm getting mixed up because I can't find when they played. I'm sure they played Castleford in the Challenge Cup.
They might have played at Castleford.
Salford versus Hull.
Again, where Salford are at the moment, you would fear.
Yeah.
Which
Those-
is nothing
Nice.
against Salford. They're trying to build. But
They're playing that
they
game on
don't-
Friday night. I thought
They
it
don't
was
want
a
to be
statement
playing a
about that,
Super
wasn't
League
there?
team.
Loch Lane once played Hull Sharks.
You do wonder how many people are going to go from Hull on a Friday night to Salford.
So those are Friday night's games. Saturday, Doncaster Cass, which will be
That should
interesting.
be decent.
Yeah.
Because what did Doncaster just lost in there to?
Midlands.
Oh, they beat. Yeah. 26.
But then Midlands lost, didn't they, to Gould the week before? So it's interesting.
It's a strange old competition. Winners versus Leeds on the Sportsman. Are you going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brings back some memories of wonderful cup ties in the 1980s and 90s.
Well, as it mentions in the paper, Doug Lawton, a year on from his passing.
Yes, obviously
Norton
was
Park.
massive at both clubs.
Yeah.
Bankrupted both of them. And bought some glory as well.
What, at Leeds?
Well, he took them to Wembley again.
Oh, yeah, because you haven't been for a while, had you? Barrow versus York. So again, York building up for their game with Hull KL the week.
That'll be interesting because Barrow obviously clearly have made a good start to the. It's hard to say who's made a good start
hard
in the
to say,
championship
isn't it?
because the fixtures don't really tell you. They don't give you a form line because not everybody's playing everybody.
You need to play half a dozen games to get a sense, don't you, of what's happening?
But Barrow have started impressive.
Let's just stop here for a moment. You remember I said Castleford played Castleford Loch Lane? And I was saying, I can't have made this up, can I? They did, but Castleford, at that point, were called Castleford Loch Lane. Mm-hmm. Referee, James Child. Says here.
You know what? It rang a bell, that.
It says here, James Child.
Yeah, it did ring a bell.
3,948 people. 88-10 to Castleford.
It must have been my fault.
Anybody,
will have been, yeah.
anybody sent off? I think you probably protected them.
I can find the article I wrote. I'll have to dig that out for this week. So there you go. So I wasn't making it up. I thought they were called Castlot Lane at one point. Why have they gone back to just being called Lot Lane? That's my nephew. Excuse me. North Wales Crusaders versus London Leopards. Lee Leopards. PNG second team. And on Sunday, Batley versus Catalans. That won't be fun, will it?
That'll be a big payday for Batley.
Will they be I mean, again, we don't want to go stereotypical, but will they be changing their fare in the kiosk to account for the
snail pie? Do they have snail pies in France?
Don't know.
So I've only been to France once.
Don't think so.
For a day.
Snail is not something you put in a pie.
No. Frog's legs?
Cockerville?
Onions? Cheese? Renee from a lower low.
You're a very shaky, Greg.
I'm not going to France, I'll be alright.
You might be in the wheelchair.
Oh, yeah.
What if you draw Catalan?
Well, yeah.
Might be coming back in a wheelchair.
Halifax versus Gull, which is an all championship tie.
Well, there are 3 all championships. Yeah.
Keighley Midlands and Oldham Dewsbury being played at Staley Bridge because they're not allowed in at Oldham anymore.
Providing they get through their winding up petition.
London Bradford, which of course we're all looking forward to. Rochdale Wigan and Swinton Wakefield. I could go to that, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, there's not much prospect of a shock anyway, really, other than the London Bradford game.
Which we've all said wouldn't be that much of a shock.
No, I don't think it would be.
Because you are talking about a team that
London.
will probably be in the bottom reaches of the Super League against a team that would probably be at the top of the Championship.
Yeah.
So.
Andy's joined us late. What happened to Oldham then? I know Mike Ford resigned. We don't know. They've put a statement out. Mike Ford's put a statement out. The football club's put a statement out. And in between that, the truth is somewhere.
There's a winding up petition that will need to be answered. I think it's next week.
But then people are saying that's like it's an historic thing. It's
Yeah.
all there, and it's not new
But it exists,
news,
doesn't it? So.
Yeah.
But it's not a good look.
No, I don't have a winding up petition order against that. My company, not yet. Anyway, touch wood.
Would you like to sponsor a wheelchair play? It's cheap.
Only if you work for the company.
I'll give you an advert on social media. Right. What happened at the weekend? So Andy, we don't know what happened at Oldham. I'm sure someone will. Probably one of the better podcasts. It started on Saturday night, the championship this week. I'm looking at the clock, can't tell you until 7. Barrow 30. I can't read these.
Will
numbers.
it be in my inbox?
Do you want me to read?
It won't be in the inbox because
Right.
yeah, you read the numbers because I've been told secret. I can't read the numbers.
Barrow, where are we at? Barrow 38.
Yeah, we're at the top.
Barrow
Top of the
38,
page.
Salford 4.
My worry is now you'll become sentient and be able to present this. And if I ever,
I'm never here.
Yeah,
You do well.
But
See you in April.
I've got a very swollen tonsil and I'm going to have it out.
Pardon?
I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on Tinder or Grindr or whatever. But unless, if I'm not here, someone's going to have to read the numbers out. You're going to have to, and then I'll get sacked. And that won't be
Dewsbury
done.
22, Keighley 20, which sounded like a good game. 20 points of 18 at half time, that to Dewsbury. So a low scoring second half. Halifax 28, Batley 10.
I mean, if not, we could get you a job on Radio Leeds reading the results out after the games. We could do that.
James Alexander.
Batley's first game, that, wasn't it? Because they should have played
yeah.
Featherstone in round 1.
Yeah.
But now they're playing Oldham.
So read.
So if Oldham did go and Batley lost 2 teams, Kevin would be incandescent.
Oldham are not going anywhere.
No. Well done to Batley, though, for doing their Golden Gamble online so they can make some money. The club should do that. I don't know why they don't.
London 25, Oldham 8, we've talked about.
Which it was a good game.
A low scoring game, wasn't it? First half, 10-2.
Yeah, so it was only
What was the week before with Widnes?
so an interception try by Liam Tyndall late on that turned the game, and then London got on.
That's
another
what I'm
try.
saying. Sunday's not going to be as straightforward as some people
Alright.
think it's going to be.
Yeah, I think London will win, to be quite honest.
Well, I mean, I think they probably will, but it's...
I'm not sure. I think it's a really big game for Bradford. Because
I don't
if
wanna
they
write
were
off
to
Bradford.
lose that and go into Super League, they're away at Hull the first week. You don't want to start off on the back foot. You don't want to be the team that were knocked out of the Challenge Cup. But I think Bradford will be really up for it.
Midlands 26, Doncaster 24. Game of the round, I think, wasn't it?
No, Swinton Goal was the game.
What a bizarre old, as you say, turnaround for Midlands.
Yeah.
But
332
That would be the only worry, that moving to the Avery hasn't yet seen a huge increase.
I'm looking to train up here.
Yeah, you make a big announcement about going to the Commonwealth Stadium, and then within a couple of years you leave it. Which, to be quite honest, I don't know why they went there in the first place. It just was always going to be too big. You can never create an atmosphere. Probably more likely to have more success maybe where they are now, but 332, you do wonder. Rochdale 20, Workington 14.
Rochdale unbeaten. Taking on Wigan.
Hang on. How many rounds of the championship have we had? 2.
But they are unbeaten.
London and Rochdale unbeaten.
I think it could be a long season for
5
Workington.
unbeaten teams.
Is my impression, and I don't know get the impression that it could be a long year for them. 693 at Rochdale. Swinton 24, Goole 28.
Now, someone said to me yesterday morning, Goal.
The league changed hands about 8 times during the afternoon. I had the scores. And poor old Swinton lost both of their games narrowly. Martin Kellner will be weeping.
12, and that's the Martin Kellner derby on Sunday.
I need to ask him if he's going.
Whitehaven 6, Newcastle 54.
Well, now
huge result.
Yeah.
First time Newcastle have ever won at Whitehaven in 18 attempts.
Wow. I mean, they've obviously signed some players, haven't they, up at Newcastle? Is this York's second team?
Yeah.
Oh, don't start that.
Player of the match was Taylor Pemberton, who I believe is obviously a York player.
Right.
Well, he's at York because they're the Valkyrie.
But have Whitehaven found how to dig a channel and lay a cable to put a screen in? That was the thing that I saw on social media. Oh dear.
We're not a serious sport, are we? We're not serious.
Witness 28, North Wales 14. 4,018 people
Which is good.
Widnes.
Which is really good. I think there'll be a big crowd on Saturday, even though it's on the Sportsman.
I know Widnes did the whole thing about trying to get back in the Super League and stuff, but I take that was more of a working out where they can improve rather than saying, we're Super League ready, as other clubs who may have done that same position.
No.
And they seem to be building up some support.
Barrow, top of the table, followed by
Not
Newcastle.
even London. Whoa.
Newcastle.
Yes.
The North is
Turn
rising.
around. Finish the season, done. Second.
I mean, the other thing about Newcastle that's really interesting is that when the new National Conference Pyramid, not the National Conference League, we can't say.
No.
National Community League.
Yeah.
There's no North East Division. And
So they're in,
and you'd think that, it wasn't that long ago we were talking about clubs like Cramlington and Peterlee and how Newcastle coming back was feeding into the local teams and the universities and everything. And to see Newcastle successful is great, but to see Newcastle successful on the back of what York are doing is not as great as... We haven't actually got a men's northeastern division at the moment. There are teams playing, but not enough of them to call it a division. And it goes back to our conversation right at the very beginning of the programme. How do we get more people involved and sustainably involved?
We take a Super League game back to the Heartlands, to Dewsbury, because that's what Huddersfield are doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because I've just read it on the internet.
No, they're very keen to
so that's good, isn't it?
Foment their links with Dewsbury.
Yeah. St Helens women have signed a new player.
Oh, is this the news at 7?
Yeah. Jadine McVernon from Salford. She's a back rower. So they've got a lot of back row options. Because Paige Travis is coming back. Emily Rudge.
I don't know the provenance of the person you just named.
Well, I've got some quotes from them.
That's all right.
I've already been asking a million questions at training. That's what I do. Being able to train and play alongside really good players is amazing. It's about picking up little habits and learning. That's what makes them the players they are. And that's something I'm really looking forward to, she said. So there you go. I'm sure there'll be more signings soon. That's what I'm doing. I'm learning how to steer a chair. Because I didn't realise how you turn it. Seriously. Third training session, I've learned how to turn it now. So,
You're just going straight line.
yeah. And then stopping.
I've seen some players that can only go in straight
and then
line.
stopping. I mean, I can.
I
pass
can only
both
imagine
ways.
actually how difficult it is.
I can pass both ways. I can do that. So that's good. And I just run the ball in. I'm not passing.
If you got like a nickname, your kids used to put scrum cap on and then it said tank on it or something.
I should do that. I should get
Dynamite.
Should get a scrum cap. Even though you don't need one. Is that going to be the next gimmick? I'm going to get a scrum cap. So that was the breaking news. I'm sure there's something. The women's fixtures came out, didn't they? And they're all the teams going to play each other, and then it's going to split up, and then there's going to be other teams playing each other. And
I don't get the Women's Challenge Cup.
The group of two.
The group of 2 teams, but they're only playing once.
Once.
You would have thought that
Yeah,
because there are 3 teams in the other groups and a number of fixtures, that the group with 2 in would have at least played each other home and away, and
yeah,
the
because
team would
surely
have
they're
gone through
just
on
going to have a
aggregate.
load of blank weeks, aren't they?
It makes no sense. Rugby league makes no sense.
Do we know what's happening with the 1895 Cup?
It's starting and it's finishing.
Is there going to be a draw or anything for it? And I'm asking like stupid questions
It might-
because I
might be in some of these
know you don't
recommendations.
know. I know you don't know these.
Well,
hang on.
it's like the 130 recommendations of the strategic review. It's February. We still haven't seen.
Where's my?
Yeah, the season started. We've scrapped a league.
Is it
We've
300?
expanded another league.
We've scrapped a cup, but we haven't.
Yeah, all off the back of no recommendations.
328 days, I think it is now since the.
There's the countdown. Or count up.
Yeah, because.
Or will it get published?
We've offered our August monthly magazine to publish all 130 of
Oh,
them.
great! I'll have to write a column. That
If
was
only
great.
anybody would tell us what they were.
Buy more crisps, better biscuits for me.
I think there was a Super League directors or shareholders meeting last Thursday. You would have thought it might have been discussed there, and
Are things not leaked out to their pet journalists?
maybe it wasn't discussed.
It's concerning, isn't it?
Is that a question we can ask at the launch on Wednesday? We're going to the launch on Wednesday. Super League launch.
We're going to ask
National-
all the questions.
It's
All
at
the
the
questions.
National Rugby League meeting. So no, the National
National Football Museum.
Yeah, because there isn't a National.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain to my mum that the other day. Well, they were going to build it in Huddersfield, and then they.
No, they're going to build it in Bradford. That's where it started.
Oh, is
It
it?
was going to be City Hall
It's
in
even there.
Bradford, and it was going to be the George Hotel. Now it's supposed to be Wigan, but it seems to have gone quiet. But it won't be ready in time for Wednesday.
No, so we'll be there.
We're hoping to be there.
Asking all. When I say asking all the questions, just say because I've got to do the generic. It's the start of the season.
How's your pre-season been? Yeah.
And everybody's had a really good pre-season, and they're all getting on really well with each other. The new signings have slotted in fantastically.
Get your
The
accreditation
referees
sorted,
have-
James. You could do this job.
Referees have been
It's
in,
easy. That's
and
what
they've
it
shown
was.
us what the new laws are about. We've adapted
Yeah.
to them brilliantly.
We're going to ignore them. Yeah.
What do you think about your Challenge Cup tie against Team X on the weekend? That kind of thing.
Well, we're not underestimating them. We're going to put up. Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
we're resting all of our top line players.
But then when you speak to Leeds and Hull KRC, not only have you got the this, but you've got how's Vegas? How's the planning for that going? Have you all got your
it's
passports?
one game at a time. It's one game at a time. We're only
Can't
focusing
look
on
that
this
far
week,
ahead.
and then we're
Have you
looking
got
at
your
round one.
visas? Have you got visas? Is there anyone who won't get in?
Is anybody going to be denied a visa?
Like a coach.
Have you got any plans for the night afterwards? Are you going to do dancing down the street like the England women did? That kind of
What
thing.
about Ireland?
What about Ireland?
And,
Oh yeah, they're going to take
Wigan
a
and
Dublin, aren't
Warrington.
they? Yeah.
But we said that over a year ago.
Yeah, I
didn't
thought
we?
that
When
was
they
gonna
came
happen
back
this
from
year.
Vegas,
Yeah.
the plan was then this year to be going to Ireland. Now it's not really a new story. But Ireland's interesting because again, I think if we're talking,
Where in Dublin?
we're going circularly around back to where we started. Where are the new markets that can supplement the traditional areas? And Ireland would be one of them. There are investors who would
Which-
like to get involved in rugby league if they didn't have to do what Toronto did, which was start in League One and waste a hell of a lot of money buying a team that was in the wrong division. If you could say to a potential investor in Ireland, you are in 5 years' time, a bit like PNG now they're going to be in 2028.
Perth and whatever else.
And you're going to be at the elite level, and your first fixture is Wigan at Croke Park or whatever it might
Well, that's
be.
the thing. Where we're going to play it? We're going to play at Croke Park or the Aviva.
I
I think we should play at Croke Park because
it's big though, isn't it?
it is big, but so's the Aviva, isn't it?
I went to the showgrounds to watch Wigan and Leeds.
Well, they
in
had the
Charity
the
Shield.
Irish Horse of the Year show
The night before.
Yeah.
But there were Irish journalists there, including the great Tony Ward, who was a fly half for the Irish Rugby Union team, who would have been brilliant if he'd checked. And they could not get enough of rugby league, and they never saw it again because we took it once, and
Bring back the Charity Shield.
we don't want more games.
No.
We want fewer games.
Apart from
Fewer
Great
games,
Britain under 21.
fewer games of quality. No, we do want the under 21s. We do want the
Oh,
Knights.
yeah,
We do
yeah,
want the
'cause
18s.
that's it,
We do want the England schoolboys. We want a proper pathway where they have got meaningful representative games. But you can't have that if your domestic season is there. PNG have offered to players in a mid-season international because so many of their players.
Jason Dimitri's,
he's their head
PNG
coach.
13, yeah.
And there's enough of them to produce a really competitive mid-season game. Oh, we haven't got any room in the calendar.
Well, we haven't got a coach now.
Well, that would be a good idea to get one if we were going to have a game.
Am I going to have to ask every Super League coach on Wednesday? Fancy the England job?
Well, Brad Arthur's thrown his hat in.
Well, he has, hasn't
he was
he?
unequivocal.
Because they'll all be there. All the coaches. Subhan Hulis, do you fancy the England job?
Steve McNamara, you've had it. Would you fancy it again?
Yeah, we should definitely go to Croke Park because they banned rugby union for ages. So definitely.
Did they?
Yeah. Because the GAA banned all foreign games. Because obviously, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but there's a bit of history between mainly England and Ireland.
Really?
Politically, yeah. So they didn't like any foreign games in there. So I think they'd like us.
Because
we are foreign,
we're a bit
but also
we're a bit edgy, a bit rebellious.
we don't like Twickenham, do we? So,
Born out of two fingers to authority.
So I think if they're going to like a foreign sport, they have American football there. So
we'll be fine.
Yeah. So yeah, Croke Park. I want to go around the museum there, but didn't get the chance when we went to Ireland.
Talking to Vegas, have you got your tickets booked?
Still going to let Phil in, are they?
So glad I'm not going.
Why did you say that? Vegas itself.
No, just politically and ideologically, I don't want to be anywhere near America at the moment.
Phil will get to the airport and then be straight on the next plane home.
I couldn't be trusted to not say something where somebody would overhear and go, I don't know where you think you're going.
Yeah,
but you've got a choice. You can have an orange tracksuit or you can go back.
Are there any players who've got any dodgy social media they should be deleting right now?
I think they're more likely to be slightly right wing, aren't they?
I can't say anything anymore.
No, you can't.
No.
No. It's on at midnight. They've announced the times now of the games. Yeah. It's 4:00 in the afternoon for those who are going to Vegas, and it's midnight here.
Something past 2 and something past 4, isn't it? Here in the morning for the NRL games or something.
2:15 and 4:30.
Yeah. So I expect you to be doing an all-nighter.
That's no problem. that I can do.
I mean, we're staying up for the Super Bowl on Sunday, so.
We'll go to print and it'll be the Super Bowl.
So that's. I think that's it. I don't think there's anything else, is there? Nothing else going on?
It's just good to see James.
Yeah.
Not that we can talk about on air.
Well, no, I mean, no, that's...
all the best bits happen after.
Now the real programme starts. But what can we ask James?
Put that behind the paywall. You'd get millions.
Join us on our Patreon. What can we ask?
Biscuits.
Biscuits. What can we ask James about before we go?
I couldn't resist when I was in the supermarket. Yeah. Any biscuit called Kex.
Yeah.
That's got to be for a Yorkshire market.
Yeah.
So Leibniz trousers.
Where are they from?
They must be.
Don't say
German.
Aldi or something.
German.
Yeah.
So when I bought
Kex, I assume they're biscuits in the shape of trousers.
When I bought my official action figure, I didn't realise that his knees didn't work, so he has to sit with his legs out.
Is that why?
That's why he's like that. Yeah. So that's it. Now he's going to be on the table forever.
I struggle to catch and pass with arms as stiff as that.
So
as well.
It's realistic.
It is actually based on. By the way, it looks like he's got.
I've got like a little plastic
hip job.
That's like water feed or something.
We're laughing now, but when I win Wheel of Steel,
well,
I don't know how I'm going to win.
When you do, I'll buy the biscuit.
When I steal it.
Oh, this is an actual tag from Wakefield.
Yeah.
Yorkshire Property Services.
Exactly, they've got a sponsor. That's why it's on the table. Yeah. So join us next week. There'll be something from the launch on Wednesday, I'm sure. Later.
Some more tat. Is that what you mean?
Oh, there'll be some tat. Yeah.
Oh, do you think we'll get any stash?
Oh, we must.
We got beer last year, didn't we?
Did
from the sponsors.
And tequila, which I haven't drunk.
Did we?
Yeah, I got some tequila.
All right.
And pink vodka and pink lemonade, which I also didn't have as well. But are they all right?
Well, if you've got a league table for biscuits, this is probably
are these the
Bradford of biscuits or the...
There's not much to them, is there?
No.
They do look a bit, but
they smell of butter.
Well, Salford are currently bottom of the table. Apparently, according to League Express.
So Salford and Leibniz Kex would be a decent fixture.
We need a league table of biscuits in 2026, surely.
We do.
We'll
see you. We'll see you next Pride month.
June probably.
June, is that the next one?
June Pride month.
Did you see the 5 flyers debacle this weekend.
No.
They're
So-
not bad.
Well, they're
So
all
they-
right, actually.
They've done a whole... anyone who's listening to the podcast now, if you don't want to listen to this, you can switch off.
They've just gone up to mid-table.
They've,
The butter's kicked in.
the Bradford of biscuit, says Andy, and then he's is that a biscuit you've sent as an emoji? A biscuit emoji, I can't tell. So, five fly. In ice hockey, I mean, I don't know why I'm going to explain this to you, James, you'll notice. Some companies, they like to use pride as an opportunity to make money by selling another shirt. Although they were going to do this for charity. They're an ice hockey team in Scotland, and they were going to do this. They were going to
They're actually not too bad.
raffle off the shirts and give the money to a local LGBTQIA plus charity. I think I've got all the letters there. If I haven't, I apologise. But one of their players didn't want to wear the warm-up shirt. So rather than or wear the shirt, so they said, well, we're going to wear them for the warm-up. And this player didn't take part in the warm-up. So they didn't wear the shirt. And the charity that was involved saying, well, if you're not going to do it properly, we don't want... Which is admirable beyond belief. Because you could easily take the money and, you know. And then the player who didn't want to wear the shirt got injured 5 minutes into the game. And everyone kicked off on it.
Karma.
Yeah,
some
well,
might say.
you know, it's like when Izzy Folau's wife missed a basket in the netball final. It's like, well, he moves in mysterious ways, doesn't he? But,
I thought you were going to talk, when you talked about ice hockey, I thought you were going to talk about heated
well,
rivalry.
no, I'm now worried
About
that
what?
I've got nothing to write about in the magazine
Phil,
this month.
there you are, on that bombshell.
Is it good?
Google it. I've not watched it.
Oh, you've not watched
What
it?
is it?
Well, I thought you would have.
I've seen a few clips of it, and that was probably enough.
Oh, right. Well, it's like that, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I've got to write something in the magazine, and I've got nothing to write about yet, apart from there was a London Broncos woman on Gladiators, but I can't get 800 words out of Gladiators. So I'm going to have to... I've got it all recorded, ready to watch.
What's it called?
Heated Rivalry.
Smut.
It's about ice hockey. It's smut, isn't it?
yes,
Smut is
yeah.
filth.
What's
Yeah,
it got to do with
yeah.
rugby league?
Well,
Nothing.
nothing, but there's
Oh,
nothing.
okay.
There's nothing. There's
Neither
nothing.
is your column.
There's nothing in rugby league to write about. I can't. Whole game. I've got a documentary out. Great, another documentary I'm going to watch. Brilliant. Nice.
Any quizzes with rugby league questions in recently? No, that people have got wrong.
No, so it's, you know, last month was the
Oh,
Great
it's on
Ship
tonight.
Murder, the Good Ship Murder,
If there's a question on University Challenge,
University
I'll let you know.
Challenge. So I've got to start writing. So Heated Rivalry is on the box to write about. So it's
So
about
that's
ice-
what we need. We need a gay,
Exactly.
smut,
yes.
drama,
Yes.
rugby league based drama.
Exactly. That's
There you
well.
are.
That's the column. That's I don't know how I'm going to write it yet, but that's.
Talking of inches, column inches.
Hey, last month it was we need a cosy crime drama based on a former rugby league player in Cyprus.
Or getting a rugby league player in Celebrity Traitors.
Yeah, and this month it's going to be... Well, actually now we're just going to go for the gay pound and say, for the want of a better phrase, and go for Heated Rivalry, the rugby league version.
There you are.
So that's what it is. But if...
Will it include Jake Connor and Micah Lewis? 'Cause
No,
that couldn't be a less heated
no,
rivalry
because
now
they're
than-
not, you know, but... Well, yeah.
What about his
thank you.
comments?
Thank you for that, because now I can use
But
that
why
as the...
do we do that?
Thank you.
The whole thing is we talk about building up rivalries and giving personality to players, and then
We've not finished.
we get them sit down on Sky
We'll burst the balloon.
saying, "Do you want to apologise for what you said?"
It was John
No!
Davidson. But that's Davidson's fault.
Make it
'Cause
worse.
He filmed that little clip.
Make it
It's his
worse. Tell him you really meant it, and you can't wait till we meet in Las Vegas because I hate you.
Team Jake. So yeah, but if anyone, because I understand that the Good Ship Murder is produced by a former rugby league player. So if they want anyone
These
to,
are a bit Moorish. aren't
They are.
if they want to write an episode where we do a podcast on a boat and one of us gets murdered, then we'll be we'll take a free holiday and an acting credit on Channel 5, will we? I think we'd do that. So
they?
yeah.
As biscuits.
So if you're watching Good Ship Murder, people, we'll come on your programme if you run out of storylines of how to kill people off. Right about random rugby league jerseys in Hollywood productions. That's all just South Sky, isn't it? It's just South people in South shirts. So that's it. That's the programme this week. Back next week. Super League teams will have played a proper game.
See you in Manchester at the launch.
Yeah. Did they... I'm not reading Ian's message because I've got to write about that. I'm going to have to write about that. I've got to write about it diplomatically.
Yeah, but whatever you write,
You'll
Yeah,
just
edited
change it.
anyway.
Yeah. I mean, so we did have some complaints that the Connect 4 counters were too loud. I think that was still a good idea. I think I've had worse ideas than that. The problem is here, I don't have the filters that Radio Yorkshire would say, no, you're not doing that. Have you guys given your top 6 yet, says Andy? No. Because we don't need to.
It'll be in the magazine.
Wigan, Hull KR, Leeds, Lee, Wakefield. But not in that order. Because Wakefield are going to win Super League. And I've probably forgotten some other teams, like Catalans. I should have put Catalans in, shouldn't I? Yeah, St Helens. So it's all gone wrong already. You have to give me the list of people in front of me.
Can't see Catalan. And I can't see
Red,
Wakefield.
orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Right, that's it. We're off. We'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. James might be here.
Well, it'll be Super League predictions next week.
Super League predictions next week. Ronnie the Rhino's saying goodbye. Because I found it again. So we'll see you next week. Thanks.